Prescott Elementary School is a kindergarten through 8th grade school in the city of Chicago as part of Chicago Public Schools. It services students in our neighborhood attendance area, but it also opens its doors to students from across the city. And so we are very lucky to have a student body that is representative of our entire city, both geographically, racially, different religious backgrounds, ethnicities, languages spoken, and many other differences that make our school an amazing place to be. Working at a K-8 school, I think the name of the game is just flexibility in all aspects of the term. You have to be able to move within and around grades very quickly. You have to be able to understand the various developmental needs of students in kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. And you have to be able to communicate with them in a way that works for them too. And so sometimes that means talking to a student in kindergarten who fell on the playground and then immediately going into a 7th grade classroom and talking about the importance of high school transcripts. And so being able to have that ability to do that quick thinking, that quick change, and do that in order to meet the needs of all students is really, really important. I think one of the best things about working at Prescott Elementary is the school's commitment to restorative practices school-wide. This is something that was not in play when I started at the school 4 years ago, but coming out of the pandemic and seeing how students had changed, seeing how adults had changed, we recognized that there was a need for something different, both in discipline, but also just in our communication practices with students and adults. And so we brought in using nonviolent communication from Marshall Rosenberg, as well as using things like grok games and using talking circles and other things that are part of restorative practices. And we really have seen a positive change across the board school-wide. We have students who are trained to be restorative circle keepers as well as nonviolent communicators. And so they are leading this kind of work with other students, both in their classrooms and across the school. And then we have a lot of adults who have improved their communication practices with each other as well.
However, your brain is still not perfect. In fact, it sometimes distorts or changes things around.
Something that has been a driving force for me over the last few years is looking at anti-racist counseling. I attended the ASCA conference in 2023 and saw that there were many different sessions related to anti-racist counseling. Soon as I went to these sessions, I started to think about myself and think about my school and how I could incorporate some of those practices, not just for myself and my counseling career, but also to our staff at large. And so I went back home feeling really reinvigorated in my counseling work and started to kind of dig into the data of our school, and especially within our MTSS processes for both academics and behavior. And while I kind of already had sort of an anecdotal idea of what I might find, being able to back that up with the actual numbers data was really important, because then I could go to my staff and I could share with them what I found, as well as some ways to actually make some change, using the anti-racist counseling textbook that came out a couple years ago. It allowed me to share with my entire staff ways that they could improve their practice, and do so in a way that was not shaming them or making them feel like they were less than or that they were doing something wrong. It was more just saying, hey, now that we've taken a look at this, let's keep moving. How can we move forward? How can we improve our practices? How can we be lifelong learners ourselves and model that for the students? And I think it really has sort of turned a page at our school to be something that we continually look at now. It doesn't mean that we've solved all the problems, but it does show that it's something that we're really interested in knowing more about and trying to get to the root cause of some of the problems that we do see at our school, especially because we are a really diverse school, and just helping everyone feel like they are an equal member of our school community.